France is easily the most messed up country I've ever visited. I'm going to tell you about the absolute train wreck of a trip I had. Just one disaster after another. The English situation is a total disaster. It is just horrible. Even in tourist traps right in the center of Paris, there's a huge chance they won't even give you a menu in English. Other cities? Forget about it. There's nothing. Even if the waiters speak English, you still end up sitting there with your phone, translating everything. Service and hotels. The service in general is rock bottom, an absolute nightmare. Take the hotels, for example. A ton of them don't have air conditioning at all. In some cities, it's basically impossible to find a decent hotel with AC. You show up and the person at the front desk doesn't understand a single word of English. Even if they have AC, they don't turn on the heat. Enjoy 10 degrees in the room. If you go to France in the summer and you don't know about this, you'll literally suffocate. You'd think AC is standard, like in every other country, but no. People even write in the reviews, "I was suffocating, I was dying." Yet the overall rating is still high. People write it was terrible and then give it an 8 out of 10 anyway. What? What a BS to give even 6 this case. Here's an example. A lamp is hanging right over your head. You turn it off, but there's this tiny little switch light that keeps glowing. I had to cover it with a t-shirt just to sleep. In the showers, even in decent hotels, there is absolutely nothing provided. They're trying to save money on you as much as possible. It was my first time seeing AC units that, even when they exist, only have one mode. It's stuck on one setting. They tell you, oh, it's on cooling mode. What do you mean cooling? I'm freezing. It's 10 degrees outside, and in a chain hotel with an 8.0 rating, the AC is stuck on cold. The overall attitude is, you're here, that's your problem, deal with it, we aren't doing anything. In literally every hotel, there were no outlets by the bed. One side might have something, but the other side? Nothing. And the meme of the year, the toilet. No door, just a curtain. The acoustics are so good that the person on the bed can hear every single sound of your ass. And the smell, too. So if you took a big shit, your roommate will be very happy. Nice experience. But that's only half the problem. The light is shared. You go to the bathroom at night and there's no separate light. You either go in the dark with a flashlight and pee on your own knees, or you turn on the main light and it shines directly on the bed. You're constantly thinking, are you serious? Can you not use your brain and plan this out? In the first apartment, the water broke. The guy left a handwritten note with instructions on how to activate the water and put it on some table. What if I didn't find it? Handwritten, in English, and totally unreadable. Instead of sending just a message via Booking. In a message on Booking, he promised slippers. But in fact, suddenly, there were no slippers, as well as carpets neither in the room nor in the bathroom, only ice floors. Of course, there wasn't a C. I ended up using a bathroom heater that wasn't even meant for the room. It heated up a little, but it was still freezing. I caught a cold, froze at night, got a stuffed nose, a cough, and a runny nose. My immune system just tanked. I even got a cold sore on my lip. I had to go to the pharmacy just to get some cream for it. After a week, we just bought a small heater. Nothing works. You arrive in a city, the hotels, the food, everything, and nothing is open. Just never. It's like no one plans on actually working. You go to a small town and all the restaurants open at noon for exactly 2 hours. I'm not joking, no exaggeration. They open for 2 hours for the menu du jour, and then they close. Then they open again at 7 for another 2 hours. And that's it. Literally a few hours a day. By 8 p.m., you won't find a thing in a small town. You're stuck going to a kebab shop. It happened multiple times. We'd show up 40 minutes before closing to get a pizza. Sorry, no seats, we're closing, the kitchen is shut. They kicked everyone out 20 minutes early and called it a day. Another time, we went to a pizzeria an hour before closing. The guy goes, I can only do takeout. There was no one else there. We just wanted to wait 10 minutes to eat, but no, he made the pizza and didn't even cut it. We sat down outside. I looked, and the pizza wasn't sliced. But seriously, you don't cut the pizza? You don't let us sit? Your place is supposed to be open for another 30 minutes. Where are you going? Souvenir shops are closed during the day, whether it's a weekday or the weekend. You go at 2 or 3 p.m., nothing. No sign, no explanation. Sometimes there's a sign saying it's open, but it's still closed. Incompetence. They see on Booking that you're from another country, and they still message you in French. Idiots. At the airport, we checked with the info desk. A woman was sitting there. We showed her the metro map. It said this train requires an extra fee and isn't covered by the pass. She said, no, it's fine. Basically, she convinced us. Everything is good, no extra fee, just go. Even though we showed it to her. In the end, we get on the train and there's a sign right there. Airport zone, extra fee required. We opened the app, put in the route, and it was highlighted in yellow. Extra fee here. This person works at the airport. Get them out of there. What are they getting paid for? Knowing this is their direct responsibility and the only reason of them sitting there. Another example of blatant disrespect. Mont Saint-Michel, one of the country's main landmarks. Google says the abbey at the top is open until 6 p.m. We arrived at 5, and the path up to the abbey was already closed. Not a soul in sight. There were 15 people standing at the bottom, totally confused. You couldn't go up, no staff, nothing. Later, we found out they actually locked the doors to the abbey an hour before closing. It wasn't written anywhere. Not a single employee to tell people it was closed. Classic shitty attitude.
Roads and traffic lights.
The roads and traffic lights are a total failure. In Paris, the lights are insane. Everywhere has a safe pause. It stays red for ages, for no reason, even when no cars are coming. The result? Everyone just runs the red light. Everyone is constantly dashing across the street. Meanwhile, on the Paris Ring Road, the limit is 50 kilometers per hour, and everyone just crawls. In cities, it's 30 almost everywhere. Then there are those lights where cars coming from different sides get a green light at the same time, and you just have to figure out how not to crash. Instead of solving the problem, they just lower the speed limit. Oh yes, we're saving lives. Thanks a lot. Now everyone is going 20 kilometers per hour, all while ignoring the fact that in Paris, nobody actually waits for a green light. I've never seen anything like it. Car rentals. Renting a car was a whole other ordeal. They offer you a car with a massive dent. You ask if they'll fix it? No. Why bother? You know what happens? The person who made that dent already paid for it. The car will be rented out 1 million more times, and they'll charge people for every tiny scratch. Then they'll fix it all at once later. The biggest shit was when we were trying to return the car back. Huge airport, and on the Google map, there is no Avis return parking there. No signs how to find Avis on the roads at all. You ask the employees walking around the parking lot. They know nothing. I don't know English. I don't understand. I don't know where the rental desk is. We ended up being 40 minutes late. They said, yeah, it's all good, no worries. I told them we called and no one answered, that we couldn't find the place. They said it was fine. Then, already in Paris, my wife notices right before the flight that they charged us for an extra day, just because we were 40 minutes late. You look at the Google reviews, the rating is like a 2.0. People are writing scam and extremely rude. They charge people $500 for scratches or for gas even when the tank is full. If you come to discuss this with them, they don't even know their own laws and contracts. Just puppets. Hundreds of reviews. You have a huge chance to step into this scam machine. And again, where is the government? They scam locals too. You pay a third of your salary for security, and then a private company just rips you off. The missed flight. The ultimate fail was at the end. A combination of this country and the budget airline, Transavia, we missed our flight. Usually, when it says gates are closing, boarding is actually just starting. We were late. There was no announcement, nothing over the speakers, no one looked for us. At the airport, nobody cares. We were 7 minutes late. The gates had just closed, and the plane was still sitting there. They told us, no, that's it, get lost. Nothing can be done. I saw on the app later that the plane sat there for another 20 minutes. They even had time to take our suitcases out of it. They could have easily let us on, but no, they just sent us away. The plane literally took off 20 minutes after they told us to get lost. We were entitled to a partial refund. We went to the Transavia desk. Help us, what do we do? They didn't care. They gave us a slip with a number and said, call them yourselves. I call the number and some jerk answers. He says, tell me this specific number. I ask what number he means. He goes, oh, you don't know the number? That's why you missed your flight. The connection was bad. Suddenly he says, oh, do you not know English? I can't understand you. Goodbye, and hung up the phone. That's their customer support. Just garbage. I went back to the desk. I called, and that guy was incredibly rude. You call them and fix this. They finally gave me their own phone. A woman answered, understood everything perfectly, and processed the refund. What a surprise, yeah? Saved in Poland. We took a flight through Poland for an insane amount of money, like $800. Same day booking, 0 other options. We were losing it. We just wanted to get out of that country as fast as humanly possible. We had to drag ourselves to another airport, tried to do the tax-free refund there. They cut half the tax immediately because we wanted cash. We said, transfer it to the card. They said, you should have filled that out in advance. Now you have to pay the fee. That flight was delayed. And we had a connection. Luckily, the airline was responsible. Classic France. Everything was closed early there, so we missed everything. Here, everything was delayed. The plane landed in Poland, and the Israeli flight was already leaving. We couldn't make it. But we were entitled to a juicy compensation, $600 per person. Basically, in the end, we actually came out on top. In Poland, they put us in a hotel, all expenses paid. A normal hotel. Everything worked, hot water. It was not France. We were honestly just happy to be far away from that clown country. The finale. The thing is, obviously not everyone there is terrible. There were good people who helped, but there was just too much nonsense per square meter. But because the last few cities were beautiful, Paris, the Louvre, the visual impression wasn't bad. The food was almost always great, the weather was decent, and the last hotel for 6 days was excellent. That really saved the trip. And the fact that we got that heavy compensation? I could have been eating nothing but crab for that money. It was a literal miracle that the plane was delayed and they compensated us. But in the end, I got the compensation. It was a huge weight off my shoulders. If I hadn't known about that, I would have been miserable. If you like the video, subscribe and press like button. It motivates me to make more videos.